Welcome to the most listened to golf podcast in Australia. This is Talk Birdie and it's week 24 of the golfing year. We're live from the Australian Golf Centre, home of Golf Australia and the PGA of Australia. And if you haven't downloaded the new Watch My Numbers app, this is the most powerful database golf app in the world. This will help your game, guaranteed. You can download from the App Store or Google Play. Play smarter and use your data. And thanks to the team at Ping, they'll help you play your best, like they have for Nick O'Hearn his whole career. You can see your local golf shop or professional and arrange a Ping Club fitting. And the Golf Clearance Outlet, who beat everyone's prices on great gear. Drop in store in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane or Perth, or online at golfclearanceoutlet.com.au. And now, former world number 16 Nick O'Hearn and former Tour Pro Mark Allen. This is Talk Birdie Simi.
I love US Open week. It's an exciting week, but it's even better when it's at a golf course that you just want to play at some stage in your life. Only been 3 at this joint. Payne Stewart, 1999, at Pinehurst number 2. Hold the 15-footer on the last, where there is now a statue to beat Phil Mickelson. I did some research on this today. I completely forgot. He died 4 months after winning nail on that putt.
Yeah, it wasn't long after. He played Ryder Cup just after it, and then the unfortunate accident happened. Yeah.
I can remember the next year, they got all the pros lined up at Pebble Beach and they kind of did their version of a 21-gun salute, which was everybody lined up on the 18th fairway, and one after another they all hit a golf ball into the Pacific. Yeah,
and I think at Bay Hill as well, they also did something similar there where everyone was in their plus fours. Plus floors or plus twos? What do
plus
you call
fours.
Plus fours, yeah.
Yeah, he was a plus 4 guy. Roger Davis was a plus 2s guy.
Ah, okay.
He had like, you know how you got slim pants?
Yeah.
Roger Davis had the slim version of the plus 4s, right. So they called them plus 2s.
But in Payne's win, you remember the jacket he wore on that final day?
Oh,
he had a sleeveless rain jacket.
Is that where it started, the sleeveless rain jacket?
He ripped the sleeves off before the round.
That's where it started. I didn't know that.
Yes. So he loved the jacket. It was wet, but it was fairly humidish because it was in North Carolina. It was going to rain, or there was rain throughout the tournament, and the sleeves were bugging him. So he rips the sleeves off the jacket and plays with this sort of, and you can see see the edges fraying away. And
that's right.
Yeah, his wife Tracy told us about that. About that many years later.
Tracy Ferguson, because
correct,
she was Mike Ferguson's sister.
Yes.
And Payne Stewart used to come down to Australia. Funny story, Payne Stewart used to come to Australia, saw Stuart Ginn wearing plus 4s, saw Roger Davis wearing plus 4s, and thought, how cool are those guys?
And then went back to the range in the US and said, everyone is wearing the same outfit here. Why don't I be different?
So, courtesy of Stuart Ginn and Roger Davis, there was another bloke called Mike Calandro.
I remember Mike. Yes,
Mike Calandro,
angry
dude,
man,
and might have just done a few things that weren't so noble with the rules of golf along the way.
Anyway.
So there was those 3 players wearing plus 2s and 4s, and that's why Payne Stewart ended up wearing plus 4s.
But I know we unveiled Bob Shearer's statue last week. But the statue of Payne. It could be the best of all time.
Yeah, it's a ripper.
I think.
It's a belter.
What an image. And his son, Aaron, was there not long ago, dressed up in the same kit and stood next to the statue and did the pose? The pose and everything. And Aaron is a spitting image of his dad.
Isn't that great?
Incredible.
I love that. I absolutely love it. How long after 2005, Michael Campbell beat Tiger Woods down the stretch?
Yes, I played that one.
Did you?
I was there playing, and Pinehurst it's changed so much since then. It was.
Did you have the long rough then, or did you have the wire grass?
Long rough, long rough. The domed upside down saucer greens, the old Donald Ross style.
Yeah.
First 2 days, I played really nicely, but I was playing conservatively. I thought, I've shot 71, 72. I was 3 over par. Leaders were around 3 under maybe, so I'm 5 or 6 shots back. And I said to Wilbur, I'm playing well, but I've played conservatively. I'm not sure what the big deal is about these US Opens, because this was my first one. This is actually my first one. So I thought,
hang on, it's your first US Open and you shoot 70, 71?
71, 72. It's past 70.
Fabulous.
So I'm like 3 over. I'm 6 back going into the weekend.
Huge.
I thought, well, if I'm gonna get aggressive here. Let's have a crack in round 3.
Let's win this thing.
Shot 78. Now I know why you don't take golf courses.
Now this will be a great lesson for a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
So when you're playing conservative in rounds 1 and 2, if there was a pin cut close to a false side or a false front or something, how conservative were you aiming away from that pin?
Oh, very much so. It was middle of the green or the other side of the green where I knew I could get it up and down from.
That's right. So when you went down, that's question 1, which
cannot side yourself.
That's how you play conservatively. When you were playing aggressively on a US Open, you weren't going at pins, were you? You were probably going 6 foot left or 6 foot right.
I have a feeling that day I think I was going straight at every pin. Started out thinking, you know what, let's take this golf course on a little more. Yeah. I don't think I was going at pin. I was probably I was halving my distance. Right. Instead of aiming 30 feet, I was aiming 15 feet.
Yeah, okay.
And things like that. And in hindsight, just a big mistake.
Big mistake.
Yeah, but I learned my lesson. But around that time, US Opens were incredibly difficult. If you look at all the winning scores lately, they've 8 to 10 under. There's some few unders. I was looking back through the history. I played 2 of the toughest ever. The following year, I think that year even par won, Michael Campbell. Yep. And then the following year, Ogilvy won with 5 over at Wings Foot.
Right. And how many over were you and you finished in the top 10?
I was 8 over.
8 over and finished in the top 10, 6th.
And then the following year, 5 over won again at Oakmont. I was 15 over and I finished 20th. So it's crazy how hard those golf courses were.
So in 2005... was there rough up to the greens, or
no? It was shaved.
It was shaved down.
Yeah, the Donald Ross design, the genius of it is upside down saucers, and it would run away for a good 10 or 15 yards or meters. Yeah, and then you got into the juicy stuff. But if you're in the juicy stuff, because the runoffs, it would actually go into that. Or if you were lucky to just stay in a bowl. But then, you know what a tabletop green looks like to hit up to. You could knock it over the other side, and then away you go. And that's why Keimer putted everything back in 2014, but the thing in 2014, they didn't have the rough.
That's right. So it went to the wiregrass. Yeah. Now, you didn't play in 2014, did you?
No.
So the wiregrass, it looks a hell of a lot better, and it's given Pinehurst number 2 its own personality, which I think is just fantastic. I reckon, golf courses, Augusta's got a personality. St Andrews has a wonderful personality. Pebble Beach, I think I mentioned, has got a wonderful personality. I think because of the wiregrass and the no rough, and probably the Payne Stewart statue, it has a fabulous personality. Martin Keimer in 2014 shot 130 in the first 2 rounds, which was a record. And I don't think too many players have led a US Open wire to wire, but he certainly did. Do you know why he was putting from off the greens?
Well, he was obviously struggling with his chipping.
He had the heebie-jeebies with the chipping.
He putted around a bunker at one stage, didn't he?
Yeah. So I reckon probably just the 6 weeks before that US Open, I've heard him talk about this. 6 weeks beforehand, he'd stubbed a couple of chips.
Ooh.
And, if you're practicing all the time, it actually gets difficult to do something like that. If you're really sharp and you've been doing your practice and you've been practicing since you were a kid and all the rest of it. I mean, in your career, you wouldn't have stubbed too many in your whole career, would you?
No,
because you were a practicer.
Well, yeah, I probably stubbed 1 or 2, but it was more there was something under the
bad
ball.
lie. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, something like that. It was never a heebie-jeebie type stuff. Yeah. That happened with the putting a little, but not with chipping.
Yeah, I was the same. So I didn't hit the ball nearly as well as good players, but my short game was quite good, and hardly ever.
Quite good. Best bunker player in the world.
Greatest bunker player in the world.
Yeah, that's right.
Statistically proven.
I'm going to do a top 5 bunker player at some stage.
Well, I better be on that list. There better not be a revenge factor.
Hey, Russell Swanson.
G'day, Russell.
Oh, yeah.
So he had the heebie-jeebies, and he putted from off the green early in his first round, and it just went close. And then he did it again, and it just went close. And that was just bang. Well, this is what I'm doing for the whole week, led wire to wire. How much did he win by in the end in that tournament? I think he won by quite a margin.
Yeah, it was
from
a bit.
Putting. So I'm now thinking, when we're watching this week, I wonder how many players are going to learn from 10 years ago.
8-stroke win. I just
And,
looked it
yeah,
up.
it was a big win.
Oof, and he was 9 under from Eric Compton and Ricky Fowler.
Eric Compton. I wonder where Eric is these days.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, so I wonder how many players will be learning from that this year, or I wonder what the USGA will do to make it harder to putt from the fringe. Now, I haven't seen any word on how the course is set up this week. I've seen a few flyovers.
There's more rough. It's settled in more. There is more rough around. Back then when Keimer won, there really wasn't much rough. It was just more waste, sandy areas,
That's
that
right.
sort of thing.
So I wonder if the rough, it maybe not, well, when you played it,
They may creep it in a bit more.
I wonder if they'll creep it in a little bit more so you cannot putt from off the greens. I don't know. I've only, like I said, I've seen a few flyovers and I've tweeted them out. So if you're on Twitter, go and have a look. I've tweeted a few of them out, but I couldn't really tell because I haven't played there. So I don't know where the ball runs to on a lot of the greens. Where
it just runs. They're ball repellents is what they are. They're just all upside down saucers, and the ball, if you're not in the right spot, it's just going to run away. And good luck. But Wyndham Clark, I saw him come out on social media saying the greens are borderline already.
Borderline quick.
Borderline quick, as in they're almost too quick.
Rock hard
and infirm. Yes. So
Jeez.
I have a feeling we could get maybe that round level par winning again.
Yeah.
If that's the case. Now maybe there is rain expected.
Oh,
so
there you go. That's why it's like it.
Yeah,
that's why it's like it then.
Okay.
Well, that's good. Well, they had a great US Open with the women. I mean, that golf course was set up absolutely perfectly. So you've played Pinehurst. If they've set the course up perfectly and they have a normal week of weather, what should the winning score be in your mind at a US Open?
I think it'll be somewhere between 6 to 10 under. I like that single figure under par mark. I think that's a really good mark to have it at. So over par, I mean, that's brutal and that's tough.
Yeah.
The Women's US Open, what was the winning score? That was Yuka Sasso. Was she 4 or 5?
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe 4 under.
Yeah.
I love those sorts of scores because it's a real true test.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I'm a 5 under guy,
Yeah.
and maybe just 4 players under par, and I reckon that's a perfect week of US Open golf. But like I said, it's a good one this year because it has a personality, and that is the Wiregrass Rough. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Now, did you see the news that the Washington Post reported? Because they reported something that we reported.
Well, this comes from your source.
My source from Live
Liv.
Golf, yes. So we reported this about 4 weeks ago, that the Strategic Sports Group's $3 billion is really only there, all of it, is really only there if they get in bed with Yasser and his personal private investment fund.
So I was wondering, that first 1.5 billion that they've put in, is that in there locked and loaded, and then they get the next 1.5 if the PIF come along, or is it the entire 3 billion?
Well, it's a good question
because I don't know the answer to that one.
It's a good question.
It sounded as though the way it read for me was the 1.5 is there, and then the next 1.5 comes along when they do a deal.
So let me read this tweet. Now, this is from JCA Golfer Report. Now, the Washington Post says that the Strategic Sports Group investment raise to $3 billion is dependent on a deal with the PIF. So it's the raise.
Okay.
So $1.5 billion is on the table right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want the rest, you've got to do a deal. Now, I ask you.
And they were just doing meetings last week, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So if the PIF has access to, well, it's gone from $800 billion to $2 trillion. If they've got access to that kind of money, $2 trillion, why would they need the second half? Why would you want the extra 1.5? Why wouldn't the Strategic Sports Group say, hey, listen, if you do get in bed with this mob, then you're only getting 1.5 from us. There's no need for us to tip in another 1.5. So that's an interesting little thing for me.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if they're matching it. Is that what's happening? The PIF is matching the deal, so then they're going to put another $3 billion in themselves. So it's $3 billion each. So it's actually $6 billion.
Well, see, I'm just thinking out loud.
I'm confused.
Yasser has always said to grow the game.
Yeah.
So if $3 billion goes into the US tour, would then Yasser put $3 billion into helping the rest of the world in golf? So
Just throw $100 million down this way. Wouldn't that be nice?
That'd be pretty handy. That would be very, very handy. And then we'd have a situation. I mean, and we don't know what's going upstairs. And if you're just new to this podcast, we record every week from Golf Australia headquarters. Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going up there, but they would have a really good idea of what's going on. They'd be aware of this. So, back to the tweet. Back on the 31st of January, when the PGA Tour announced their deal with the Strategic Sports Group, they said the SSG is investing an initial $1.5 billion into the PGA Tour enterprises. That day, they also said a consortium of American sports team owners led by Fenway Sports Group today closed on a major financial and strategic investment of up to $3 billion. Many things were omitted from that press release, including if the original $1.5 billion investment was guaranteed by the PGA Tour assets and what conditions will have to be met for the PGA Tour to receive the other $1.5 billion investment fund. At that time, we told you that there are some types of guarantees to secure that original $1.5 billion from the Sports Strategic Group investment because the PGA Tour had not reached an agreement with the PIF when the Strategic Sports Group signed that deal with the PGA Tour. So I'll cut it short there because it goes on and on and on. I'll retweet that out at some stage during the week.
Was that the short version, was it?
Yeah.
Well, it goes on and on and on. But if you read it, Dan, it says, how come they left that out of the
all you
memo?
see is $3 billion, $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking at, really.
But they conveniently left out that it's only fully on the table if you get involved with Yasser and his crew.
Well,
now, that might be the best news for American golfers. But like we reported 3 or 4 weeks ago, that's the best news for golf around the world, in my view. We're going to be looked after.
For the global game. Yep.
For the global game. And remember, they always said growing the game, growing the game, growing the game. I've made a point on this. The game doesn't really need to grow that much more. I mean, golf is not for everybody. You've got to have time to play. You've got to have time to learn. You've got, it's a long game. I really believe growing the game meant that they were going to take the best golfers in the world and play big-time golf around the world. I reckon that's what they meant by growing the game.
Of course, yeah. They've got the international schedule on the Live Tour at the moment.
Yeah, because we all made fun of them, when they all signed up and they said, we're going to grow the game, we're going to grow the game. What did that mean? We didn't know what that meant. I think we do now.
They're growing their pockets. That's what they
were. They were making lots of money, Nick.
Yeah, and the players anyway.
And we can't blame them for that.
No, we've been down that road.
I mean, if I was in their shoes, it would have been hard to say no. In fact, I would have jumped at yes straight away probably because, if they'd told us that, hey, listen, take this money now, it's never going to be on the table ever again. We reckon we'll get back in business with the PGA Tour. You'll be playing back together in 3 or 4 years' time. Do you want to come? I would have said, yeah, all right. Yeah, no worries. When's that first deposit of $100 million going? Right.
Well, it might not have been that big in your case.
Wow. That's the revenge.
There you go.
That's the revenge.
But you get the picture, right? You get the picture, folks.
I do. Yeah.
So I think we're in a good spot, Nick.
I'd hope so. I
think
going on what I was reading over the weekend, the meetings they're having with Yasser.
Yep.
It all sounds productive at the moment.
Yep.
Now, who knows what's going on behind closed doors? Maybe they're giving him swing tips. I mean, I'm not sure, but hopefully it's for the benefit of everyone. So.
I did see one tweet where one of the American players was concerned, and they were wondering whether, what to call him. They were wondering whether we call him
His Excellency.
Your Excellency. Yeah, you saw the same thing.
It might have been Peter Malnati.
There we go.
Yep.
And in the end, Yasser just came in and shook everybody's hand and said, call me Yasser.
Yep.
My name is Yasser.
That's good.
And that put everybody at ease. And no deals were done last week, but it looks like everybody is happy moving forward, except probably Brandel Chambly, who has put his stake in the ground.
Wow. Brandel's there for his opinion, and he does it well. I enjoy listening to some of his stuff, and some I don't agree with, but most of it's pretty good, and it's, he's there to create content in the game. It's fantastic. He's actually going to be the course commentator this week. So
Brandel is.
Yeah, in the US Open. So
I didn't know that.
Normally, you have guys like Paul Azinger, who's retired, Johnny Miller back in the day.
Yeah.
But Brandel does the live from. And that's completely different to doing on course.
How good's the live from?
As we know, by the way.
It's the best, their live from.
Oh, yeah.
It is the best.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that came out this past week I saw was Scotty Scheffler's body. There was more body cam images and recordings that came out. Did you see any of those?
No. I've seen some footage where you can...
When he got arrested, when he's been taken to the jail, the police headquarters, when he's there, and they're going... So you're playing in the PGA, you must be pretty good. And he goes, yeah, I'm okay. That's all he says. He doesn't say, I'm Scotty Scheffler. He could have pulled that card, and he would have probably not even gone to the
Is that where he was on the ground? He was on the ground kind of...
I think he was in the car at that stage when that happened. And then when they get to police headquarters, they go...
They Googled him.
You're number one in the world.
Yeah, they Googled him.
And he goes, yeah. And they go, at golf. These guys didn't play golf. Because in the car, he was talking about, this sort of... There was a similar thing, or not a similar thing, but there was a police escort at the Ryder Cup back at Medina in 2012 or 14, whenever it was. And they go, and he goes, have you heard of the Ryder Cup? And they said, no, what's that? So you don't know what the Ryder Cup is. You're not a golfer, obviously.
You're not much of a golfer.
Anyway.
Or you're not much of a golf fan.
But it's all been dropped and,
Oh, good for Scotty.
Yes.
And he had a great win.
And he had another win.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that in the Pink Glover results.
Have you seen the tournaments that he has won this year?
Oh, it's incredible.
I mean, hang on. I'll get it in a second. But
okay. Well, I can read out
have you got
the venues. I mean, he won Sawgrass, he won Bay Hill, he won Augusta, he won at Hilton Head, and he has won the Memorial. He becomes the only player other than Tiger to win the Players Masters Memorial in the same year. Players Masters Memorial.
Staggering.
If you had them on your resume through your entire career, you'd go, how good am I?
Well, that's
but
a
he
Hall of
has them
Fame.
in the same year.
That's a Hall of Fame career if you win all those events.
Incredible.
Absolutely outrageous. Well done to Scotty Scheffler.
It's about as impressive as it gets, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were talking in the last couple of weeks about, I'm going to get this right, Zoysia.
Zoysia grass.
Zoysia grass. Yeah. And how it's a bit new, and I don't think, I hadn't heard of it until about 2 weeks ago, to be honest.
I think it has the sexiest grass name in golf.
Yeah, it does.
That's a great name.
Zoysia.
Yeah,
just whisper it to me.
Grass has a sexy name.
I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
Okay, wow. Anyway, we've got a guy who knows lots and lots and lots about it. In fact, his golf course... He's the superintendent there. His golf course has laid Zoysia from tee to green.
Oh.
And I believe it's the only one in Australia who's done so.
All right, well, let's get him on.
It'd be great to hear what it's like.
Yeah.
Tevin.
Hello, Dan.
Hey, Paul, how you going, buddy?
Yeah, good, thank you.
I've got Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen here, and they want to hear what you have done with Tevin Valley Golf Club.
G'day, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Very well.
One, thanks for listening to our podcast when we were talking about Zoysia grass. But we're really interested. Yep. So tell us where Tevin Valley is and what sort of temperate weather you have and what the members are thinking about this new Zoysia grass.
Yeah, no problems at all, guys. Well, we're located in the Northern Rivers of New South Wales. We're about a 15-minute drive out of Ballina Airport, just up in the hinterland. I guess we're sort of subtropical area. And Craig Parry... and the owner, Kurt Zuber, back in 2016, took on this job of rebuilding Tevin Golf Course. And we were really looking for something different as grass species. And Sir Grange Zoysia came into the country in 2016, and we just saw it as a grass that was going to give us something different. Paz had played off it in the States and, rated the grass. And, so we headed down that path. It's an amazing grass. We went tee to green, so we hand laid 76,000 square metres of it.
Wow. The whole course, you laid the whole course?
Yes, we did, yeah. So
in the rough as well?
Yep, in the rough. So, and it's just, it's just an amazing grass. It's really a case study for sustainability. It's a low input grass. So there's areas on this golf course we haven't fertilised in 4 years, And, I mean, we have, like, amazing playing surfaces.
Paz knows his stuff, that's for sure. He's doing some good design work around the country too.
Paz is a star.
Yeah, he's very
good
good.
at it.
So are you saying it's on the greens as well?
No, we went tip eagle on the greens.
Right.
But, look, I did a recent trip to Vietnam, and there's some amazing varieties of greens grade zoysias that are coming out of the US, which I think will really have a place in Australia. They're just such fine grasses, very high tolerance to disease, and they're just, they're beautiful.
So I'd always heard about these dwarf Bermuda grasses that you could put on tropical greens around the world, and you see, like, every time you flick on a tournament and they're playing in Florida or they're playing somewhere else hot, they talk about the greens and they look unbelievable. And the thing I'm noticing is you don't see the patchiness on the coverage because it's so pure. So are you talking we've got to a level now that some of that stuff could be brought down here and put at some of our more tropical golf courses?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think as the temperatures keep rising and humidity's getting higher, it's harder and harder to grow these cool season grasses, certainly on the east coast of Australia from New South Wales north. And I think these greens these greens varieties of zoysia grass and ultra dwarfs cooches are sort of have their place.
And I've always wondered this, and you're the right person, Paul, to tell me about it. This dwarf Bermuda or the ultra dwarf Bermudas that are working so well on greens, how come we don't use them on tees and fairways?
Well, one, it would be a cost. You're talking $42 for a square metre of say Tiff Eagle.
Would it work if Clive Palmer decided to put it on his course? He's got some cash up there at Palmer Resort. If he did that, would it actually work, or would the zoysia grass that you're talking about be a better fit?
Well, I think the zoysia grasses would be better. The problem you got with the ultra dwarf cooches is obviously you don't want a high growth rate. Would you get the recovery on tees and fairways? We like these ultra dwarfs on greens because their growth rate's relatively slow, which is perfect for providing a good playing surface for putting.
Paul, would you like to become our chief grass consultant here on Talk Birdie-Tome, because you've just done a fabulous job.
I know, he knows everything.
Not particularly, no.
Oh, okay. There's a couple of slaps in the face I've got this episode.
No. Look. I mean, it's. If you get the chance to come up here and visit Tevan, I mean, you'll see why the members rave about it, why the golfing community's raving about zoysia grasses. It's the leaf is so fine, but it's very spiky. So the ball will actually just sit on 3 strands of leaf, which gives you such a perfect lie every time.
Sounds like you get a lot of good lies.
We'll happily do our podcast from Tevan Valley at some stage. We'd love to come up and check the place out.
Yeah, no, you're welcome anytime.
Good on you. All right,
thanks,
Paul
Paul
Gumbleton there from Tevan Valley. All right, well, zoysia. Tevan Valley. Tevan Valley.
Paul, clarify Tevan.
Tevan Valley. Tevan.
Thank you, Tevan.
Oh, jeez.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, guys.
Paul Gumbleton. Okay. We are looking for a consultant, by the way. So if you want to be our consultant,
we've got our rules guy. We got Stuart McPhee.
That's right. We got a rules guy.
I think Paul might have assumed it was a full-time role and he'd have to leave Tevan Valley.
Maybe, yeah.
So that was the issue.
No, Paul had his chance. But if you are there at Tevan Valley on committee and you'd like us to come up and do I'd go up. I'd check it out. Right. Byron Bay, close by.
Very close by to Byron Bay.
We could holiday in Byron Bay while we're up there.
Never been. Perfect.
Yeah. I've never been either. That is us putting out on the 9th green. I'll see you on the 10th tee. And for my top 5 this week, the greatest shots I've ever seen in the men's US Open.
Okay.
It's coming up next.
Ox and Marco, a couple of great mates with a fun podcast. And occasionally, well, let's just say, it can get a little sexy.
No, it wasn't my first pash.
Okay.
It was my first
Early.
emotional pash. Or the first one with feelings. In the back of a laser.
Oh, right.
A little Ford laser gear it was too. So it had, it had the velour the velour seats.
First bash, I was 11 years old.
Oh, here we go. 11.
11?
11 years old.
I didn't even know I had anything at 11.
I was on a cricket pitch in Box Hill.
Don't tell me you bowled her over.
No.
Ox and Marco's Couple of Blokes podcast. Lots of fun, plenty of banter, and even the odd bit of romance. There's a new episode every Wednesday. Just search Couple of Blokes wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening to Talk Birdie to me, and if you're up for it, we'd love you to subscribe, rate and share the podcast wherever you listen. And thanks to our great partners who make the show possible, Ping, they'll help you play your best, Watch My Numbers, the most powerful database golf app in the world, and the Golf Clearance Outlet. They beat everyone's prices. Now, back to Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
By the way, what plans are on for the day, boys? What are you doing? What's going on?
I'm getting my Lexus of Blackburn car serviced.
Oh, nice. Good on you.
I'm going down to see Andrew Moore. They make the best coffee down there at Lexus of Blackburn. You wouldn't believe it.
I'm heading out to your home club, Kingston Heath, for a game this afternoon with Jordan Zunic.
Not for long. I'll make a phone call. The shutter gates.
Okay.
Who are you playing with? Jordan Zunic.
Jordan Zunic and his brother, and I think it's Daniel Cooper.
Oh, the man from Callaway.
I'm a ping guy, as you know. So
all right. Well, if you come back with the Callaway hat, we know you've been got at.
That'll never happen. Never happen.
I don't think I've ever seen you not wearing some item of pink clothing, by the way.
Yeah. Paul Rosa, you can be
best.
very, very proud of your man because he does not wear a ping. I mean, I'd go out with him for dinner and I reckon he'd be wearing something ping.
Have a cap on of some sort.
Why do you ask, Dan?
I'm heading off to the Golf Clearance Outlet because they have got a Black Friday in June sale on.
Hang on. Black Friday is in November.
Yeah, well, they're doing Black Friday in June.
See, that's why I love the Golf Clearance Outlet.
It's like a Christmas in July.
They
isn't
think outside the square down there.
So they're clearing out floor stock. Now, what's interesting about it is the boss down there, Sam, said up to 60% off floor stock. But on
Rubbish.
On their website, they've got up to 66%. So I reckon there's clearly been a miscommunication. But the good thing about that is, I reckon I'm going to take advantage of it.
So that is amazing because they sell stock that is brand new, but sometimes not quite up to date. They've probably got to move some gear. So 60% off. I'd be running down there. I'd fill my pockets with the $13 gloves that they are world famous for.
No, forget those. They've got Adidas Aditech golf gloves. $9, normally $20.
Oh, there you go.
That's what I'm getting today.
All right, well, try them all on and get down there and do your best.
Top five.
Now, US Open, it's a very exciting week. And they're playing at Pinehurst number 2. So I thought I'd put together my top 5 best shots ever seen in a US Open to win.
To win?
That's right.
Well,
there might be one that's a little bit dodgy.
Okay.
Alrighty, but I've passed it off. I've checked with our legal team.
Okay.
And it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I wanted to put in a Nick O'Hearn style, a number 6.
Oh, come on.
But I've been
honourable mention.
I've been told I cannot because that goes against the grain of what we're doing in our top 5. But Tiger's driving in 2000. When he won by, what did he win by, 15 shots or something?
A lot. 12, I think. Or 15, yeah.
I think he was 12 under par.
Oh, he won by 15.
And he won by 15. Right. His driving that week, that was the best golf ever played in human history, what he did that week. But I can't put that in, Nick O'Hearn style, so I will leave it out.
Because it wasn't to win.
That's right. At number 5, Corey Pavin's forward at Shinnecock Hills on the 72nd hole to beat the Shark.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Was good. Do you know that week he played with the ugliest irons in the history of golf?
I remember them.
Those Cleveland irons, and they had
hosel.
some funky thing on the hosel that stuck out the other way.
The hosel came out and it was like a little S-bend or a U-bend or whatever. Went into the face of the iron. It was the most bizarre thing.
Bizarre. That and the bubble shaft. There's two of the most bizarre golf equipment moves in the history of the game. Corey Pavin at number 5. This is the controversial one.
Okay.
The Shark putt in 1984 at Winged Foot.
On the final hole?
On the final hole.
Yep.
I'm saying it's a winning putt because Fuzzy Zeller waved the white towel.
Yeah, I'll pass it. I'll give.
All right.
Yeah,
he waved the white towel.
He thought he'd lost.
He surrendered. So he thought he'd lost.
Because he'd just seen the previous 2 holes, 2 of the greatest up and downs you'll ever see, 16, 17 at Winged Foot, and then he does it again on 18, but he thought it was for birdie, but it was actually for par.
Are his last 3 holes on YouTube? I mean,
I think it probably is.
they would have a look. Those 3 up and downs.
And it was with the old bullseye, a Acushnet putter, right?
And I think that's the first time I ever saw the tap behind the ball. And I'd remembered it my entire life. So go and check it out. The Sharks putt in 1984. Unfortunately, Fuzzy Zoller won the 18-hole playoff. Number 3, you get a statue, you're on my list. Payne Stewart's putt in 1999.
Yeah.
To beat Phil Mickelson. He kind of cradled Phil Mickelson's face.
Face at the end.
At the end.
Yep. He said,
father or something?
You're about to become a father.
Yeah, something.
Yep. There you go. Because, Amy was pregnant at the time and was about to have their first child, I believe. So, But the other thing about that putt was Payne, before he got over it, he remembered his wife Tracy's advice, just keep your head down and follow through. And if you watch the putt, his head doesn't move until the ball's about 6 or 8 feet. It's gone already.
Is that right?
Yeah, incredible.
So Tracy gets credit.
Well, she gave him some putting tips during the week because he was struggling with the putting.
Tracy gave him putting tips during the week.
Well, trust me, when you're the wife of a professional golfer, and I will credit my wife Alana for many times throughout my career where they see things and they know your tendencies, what you do well, what you don't, and they'll go, you're not doing this. You got to go back to doing this or whatever it was. And sure enough, those things work, Mark.
Well, Tracy Stewart, who used to be Tracy Ferguson, we need her on as a bonus pod. I want to delve into what Tracy was telling Payne in the lead up. Number 2, the next 2 are on top of everyone's list. Tom Watson's chip in at Pebble Beach on the 17th hole.
Oh, yeah.
He told his caddy he was going to hole it.
Yep.
Chipped it in, went in pretty hard, and then looked back at his caddy. Pointed at him. I told you.
Yeah.
But the number 1, 1972, when 1-irons were still a thing, into a 4-club win, some say 6. Jack Nicklaus's 1-iron that hit the flagstick and then just nestled.
I think that's on YouTube
6 inches
too.
from the hole. Jack's 1-iron. Just
One of the
Google that,
greatest shots
folks.
ever.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, Jack's 1-iron. That's all you'll need to type in. Press video, and you'll see the greatest shot in US Open history.
We'll work that on socials too.
Please.
Yeah. Good list, Mark. Well done.
Now, we had a little voicemail beep before.
Yes.
You know what that means?
We got a voicemail.
We do.
Right.
You have 1 new voicemail. New message.
Hi, Nick, Mark, and the Super Caddy Dan. Just in regard to the Australian Open, with Liv putting on a great show over in Adelaide, maybe it's time for the US PGA to step up and rather than give money to the players, why not start supporting other countries' PGA tournaments and help increase their budget so they can put on some bigger shows? Just a thought. Keep up the good work, guys. See ya.
I love the thought. But the PGA Tour, they're going to look after the PGA Tour.
Yes.
There are tours like, for instance, we are, the DP World Tour and the Australasian Tour. We have a partnership going, and they help Asian Tour. They help us with funding for certain events and things like that. So there are partnerships like that. But the PGA Tour, I mean, they used to help with what did they call it back then? Not the Corn Ferry, it was something else. The Nationwide. Remember,
tour,
we used to go to New Zealand, and they had one in Adelaide for a while.
That's right.
So co-sanctioning there. But you know what happened? Aussie guys,
too many Aussies
would win the tournaments, and then they'd get status in the US, and that annoyed them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And you know what was going on also is that our dollar was quite strong when those tournaments were on, and
cost them a fortune.
It cost them a fortune. One, but when an Aussie won, they actually got a bit of a boost because it translated into more US dollars.
Were they paid in US dollars, were they?
Well, so whatever happened, so if a US dollar winning tournament, let's say they won $90,000.
Oh, on the money list you're talking about.
Yeah, that's gotcha. Right. Let's say they won $90,000 if they won a nationwide tour in America. When they won a nationwide tour in Australia, they won $110,000 US dollars. So it was a bonus. And they had too many Australians winning Australian nationwide events, so they got an extra 20. And we had that many players playing on the US tour because of it. And the Yanks said, well, hang on a second, we can't be helping out these blokes. So they put a stop to it pretty quick.
They're not inclined to help out then, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no.
Well, they were for a little while until they found that it was not fair. Still, I have hope for the Challenge Tour on the DP World Tour to do the same at one stage, at some stage.
If you want to leave a voicemail for us, it's very easy to do. talkbirdietome.com.au. About halfway down the page is a little record button, and you can do it on your phone, like literally on your phone. It takes 30 seconds.
Hey, when are we going to get Timmy Trumpet to come in and do a live version?
That'd be fun.
I reckon
Might
he's
blow our ears off.
Apparently he likes golf.
Right, okay.
Anyway, I'll put the call in.
Yes, and this week's Ping Global results, there was a lot of golf tournaments on, boys. But I want to make a special mention first up as well. We had the King's birthday list, and there was some controversial people that were receiving honours, but there were 11 that were involved with golf, and I want to make a special mention to two. Peter Senior was one.
Yeah, good on you, Pete.
Yeah, and Sandy Roberts.
Good on you, Sandy.
For contributions in television for golf. So,
that's
in sport.
fantastic.
It was brilliant. But obviously on the PGA Tour, we're at the Memorial where Scotty Scheffler shot a final round 74, 2 over. They made the golf course so tough. Jack was...
windy too.
Yes, swirling winds, firm greens. It's amazing what that happens. It's his first win as a father because his son's only a month old. It's also his first win outside the months February to March.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, you've played there a bit.
February to April, actually.
I've got two questions for you. The milkshakes.
Yes.
Any good?
The best.
Best, okay.
Well, there's a competition between them and at Hilton Head because
Okay.
they both do some insane milkshakes. And when we say why are they so good, it's because you can put in them whatever you want.
Right.
If you want to put in a picnic bar or a crunchy or a Turkish delight or probably something you shouldn't, you can if you want. I mean, they're insane.
What were you putting in your milkshake?
Oh, it was probably Turkish. No, did they have Turkish delights in America? I don't think they did actually, no. But it was always some sort of chocolate or whatever.
Oreo. And two, the golf course. I've heard some people say it's the Augusta of the North.
Yeah.
How good's the course?
Unbelievable. I'm going to do a top 5 most... At some stage, I'm going to do a top 5 best presented courses I've ever played on, and Memorial will definitely be in there. Because
best presented?
As in condition.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
unbelievable.
Can we have that next week, please?
Yeah, sure. We can do that next week. But Scotty, he had a one-shot victory over Colin Morikawa, who finishes runner-up to him yet again. I think that's his third time he's been paired with him in the final group and keeps getting beaten. But the other good news there was Adam Hadwin, solo third. That gets him into Troon.
Hey.
Because the top player not exempt gets him into the British Open. On the Aussie front, we had Cam Davis tied for 33rd, and the local lad who was wearing some very interesting shorts earlier in the week from his Melbourne sponsor, Jason Day, finished tied for 50th.
You looked like you'd been at the beach.
Yeah,
I didn't mind the shorts, actually.
That's fine.
His shorts are better than that jacket he was wearing.
He's worn worse.
Yeah, he has worn a lot
very
worse.
True.
Yeah.
On the LPGA Tour, we had the ShopRite LPGA Classic in New Jersey. History was made on the final round by Linnea Strom when she came from dead last to win the golf tournament.
She came from dead last.
Wow.
So, okay, let me just clarify. So it's a 3-round tournament.
Yeah.
Made the cut on the number at 3 under par. Shoots an 11 under 60. 11 under 60.
So she went to cut line to champion.
To winning
Oh
in
my
the final
God.
round.
That's never been done before.
Never been done before. One-shot win over Ayaka Furue and Megan Kang, who had a good chance to tie her on the last, but didn't, unfortunately. It's the second lowest round in history. Lowest is by... 60, that is. Someone shot 59.
Swedish.
Annika. Sorry, I didn't want to put you on the spot there, but I did. But anyway.
That's all right.
Pretty impressive win for Strom anyway, since she'd missed 5 of the last 6 cuts. So that gets her exempt for quite a while. There was a bit of controversy also in the first round where Japan's Nasa Hataoka signed for a 65, 6 under par.
Right.
However, on her final hole, she was in the rough, had to take an unplayable. They were looking for the ball.
Yeah.
Took a while. It was around that 3-minute mark, as you do.
Yeah.
Found the ball, took an unplayable, got it up and down.
Don't tell me they went back and timed it.
They timed it later on, and apparently it was about 30 seconds over. She got disqualified the following morning, and now her chances of playing in the Olympics might have just gone out the window because the top 2 players from Japan play in the Olympics, and she's now moved to number 3 because she missed the cut or got disqualified.
So I think we need to get our man Stewie on to clarify that rule? Because if you are in a tournament, and you don't have a watch, a lot of players don't have a watch when you play golf.
Well, apparently there was an official around there as well, so I just can't see how that can be justified. If there's an official there and he doesn't think you've gone over, now some people thought it was close, but if you find the ball, I mean, whether it's 10 seconds over or 30 or what, I mean, if it takes 6 minutes, now that it's 3 minutes, well, fair enough.
Fair enough.
But if it's 1 second over, are you going to disqualify? I mean, come on.
In that situation, I mean, I've played in groups where no one's had a watch. I never wore a watch my entire career playing golf.
It is hard to know how long you've been there.
But it's a general thing. We know 5 minutes was a long time. 3 minutes isn't so long. If 3 minutes 30 doesn't offend me one bit, not one bit.
No. Anyway, that is what it is.
Let's take a risk and call Stewie McPhee right now.
Sounds good.
We'll see if he's around.
It'd be kind of embarrassing if he says he's not going to take our call.
Put him on the spot.
If he doesn't take our call...
I'm impressed that it worked first time.
Yeah, it's a miracle.
Really?
Folks, if you don't know, third man Dan's got a Nokia and it hardly ever works. Come on, Stewie.
Hello, Stuart.
Hey, Stewie, it's Mark Allen and Nick O'Hearn.
Hello, Mark and Nick O'Hearn. How are you?
Oh, very well, thanks, Stuart.
Thanks for taking the call, mate. We didn't know whether we were going to take it, but we had a rules issue while we're doing the pod, and we thought we'd try our luck and give you a call. There's a situation in Japan.
No, it was on the LPGA, Stuart. I don't know if you saw it, but Japan's Nasa Hateoka got disqualified because she took just slightly more than 3 minutes, but it was after the round that they figured that out because she'd already signed a card.
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Something like that, yeah. Did you hear about this?
Certainly did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, Stewie, I've played in groups where no one's had a watch. If you find the ball and you're doing your best and, you know, the spirit of golf is right there and you've gone just a little bit over when you found the ball and you continue on, I would have ticked that off if nobody is timing it. What is the actual rule when you are looking for a ball in the rough as far as timing or estimating the 3 minutes?
Yeah, so we've certainly been discussing this amongst ourselves in the last 24 hours. There's no rule that says someone has to time it, but the guidance is that, that someone should be really timing it. Someone should be timing it, even though there's no requirement. But at the end of the day, you know, the player has made a judgment saying, well, I think we're okay within the 3 minutes. My understanding is the commentator on the ground said, I think it might be over. And then the referee has come over and helped her take unplayable, who probably wasn't aware of when that search started, and has helped her with the unplayable and gone through that process. Unfortunately, if it's proven later to be over 3 minutes, well, guess what? That original ball, if found, is now a wrong ball. And that was the issue, is she's taken an unplayable ball relief from the wrong place. And, you know, I can go through all the technicalities. Incorrectly substituted the ball, played from the wrong place, serious breach, didn't correct it, disqualification.
So give us a gut feel, Stu. I mean, that was 3 minutes 30. Let's say it was 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Do you think she still would have been pinged?
No.
Yeah, that's right.
So where's the cutoff?
So what's the cutoff?
No, I know exactly. I know that's the obvious next question. Where's the line then? Is it 3:12? Is it 3:15? I think you probably treat that case by case. If it was a 3:07, probably everyone on the committee nodded at each other. Oh, look, she clearly didn't blatantly, you know, go for well beyond 3 and probably thought it was 4.5. It played it anyway. Again, there's no requirement in the rules to time it. It's very clear about it has to be 3 minutes, but there's no requirement to time it. You wouldn't believe it. I just wrote an email this morning to Mr. Nick Dasty saying I think we should implement a policy of a player must time their own ball search, and it removes all, and it gets disqualification off the table. It ensures the integrity of competition. It ensures no awkwardness conversation between players. Hey, I thought it was over, and the player goes, no, I don't think it was. You know, it just removes all that doubt. So, yeah, I believe it does happen in some tours, not the major tours, I don't think, but it does happen somewhat.
Hey, by the way, your golf podcast, The Golf Rules Question, is a beauty too. So if you want another golf podcast to have a listen to, Stu McPhee does The Golf Rules Question. It's a ripper. Thanks, Stu.
Thanks, Stu. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
What a good man to take a call like that.
It is a good podcast. I was on it the other day. He interviewed me. So
did he?
Yeah, he hasn't asked you, Mark.
What's your fee? You got a fee? Did you charge him?
It's a glass of wine. So
anyway, continue.
So at that tournament, the ShopRite Classic, obviously Limnia Strom one of the Aussies. Steph Kuriaka had a good finish, tied for 12th, and Hannah Green tied for 27th. Kari Webb actually played in the event as well. She made a little surprise appearance as a past champion, but unfortunately missed the cut. But good to see her out there.
Do we know?
Mid-70s, both rounds. So
good on her. Good on you, Kari.
Absolutely. On the DP World Tour, they were co-sanctioning their event with the Ladies European Tour in the Scandinavian Mixed, where the men and the women play together off different tees, but they're playing for the same title. And I don't know if you saw the finish to this, but
I didn't see it. No, what happened?
Unbelievable. Sebastian Soderberg had an 8-shot lead going into the final round.
Right. And what do we always say, Nick?
I know. It always whittles its way down to one, doesn't it?
Always.
But he did not win. Because
unbelievable.
Sweden's Lynn Grant, who's a ping player, by the way, shot a 7 under 65 to post a clubhouse lead of around 17 under. And I'm watching the scores coming down. Soderberg started at 22 to start, and it's coming down. Anyway, he's got a par the last hole to win, knocks it in a bunker, splashes it out, 3 putts for a double bogey, and Grant is your winner. And it was horrible. And I'm going to actually do a masterclass later on Sebastian Soderberg's putting, which weirdly he was doing the right thing, but he didn't do it on that last hole. But anyway, we'll talk about that later.
God,
it was you got to watch the finish.
Is that the second time she's won, Lynn Grant?
She's won that tournament twice. Yeah, it's in her hometown too of Helsingborg in Sweden.
Because I saw on social media platforms all week her swing. They kept on. It's just so good.
Well, she hits the ball further than the guys, and given the teaser up, it was a nice little advantage for her. So, but an amazing win. Of the Australasians, Daniel Hillier was there from New Zealand, tied for 63rd. Liv was back. They were in Houston, and the big news of the week was John Rahm withdrew, actually, with an injury.
1 round.
Played the first round. That actually led to a couple of the Aussies, or not an Aussie and a Kiwi getting in, because Ben Campbell replaced him.
Oh, so they have to replace one on the team.
Yeah, so they have an alternate sitting there. Yeah, and then later on, Louis Oosthuizen withdrew, so Wade Ormsby got a gig as well. So it's good to see him out there playing. He had I think he had a cut between his toes, and it's turned into an infection. And with US Open week coming, he's a past champion.
Got to have your feet right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But Torque's Carlos Ortiz won his first individual title by 1 stroke from Adrian Moronk. Patrick Reed finished 3rd. The Clicks, they won the team event from Smash and Fireballs. It's weird talking about these names, isn't it, when you're talking about golf? But
that's okay.
Richard Bland, Adrian Moronk, Martin Keimer, funnily enough, and I can't remember this guy's first name, but his last name's Samoja.
Yeah.
They were Team Clique, and they took out the title. Team Ripper of the Aussies, unfortunately, were well back and tied for 10th. They were going all right, actually, but unfortunately, Cam Smith had an absolute dog's breakfast on the last day. He shot 80, 4 doubles and a triple, so it wasn't his best day. But Lucas Herbert had his best result, where he finished tied for 6th, so very, very good.
And the last day in the teams, all 4 scores count.
All 4 scores count, so if you have a bad day, you're...
God.
But I think Cam's done enough for his team over the brief time that he's been with Liv, so it's okay. The other thing to look out for is Brooks Koepka shot a final round 7 under 65 to finish tied 9th. Now, he only needs a bit of momentum going into a major, and look out, so keep an eye out for him anyway. This one's... close to my heart. I really love this one. The Epsom Tour, the Firekeepers Casino Hotel Championships in Michigan.
Yep.
Ping's Cassie Porter took home her first United States title there.
Ping and Australia's
Cassie Porter, exactly. A 1-shot win over New Zealand's Amelia Garvey and Zhou Hua Huang. Perth's Madison Hinson-Tolchard made her pro debut.
Geez, you're getting good at these names,
Yeah,
mate.
that was pretty good, wasn't it?
That was good.
Unfortunately, she missed the cut, but watch out for her name in coming weeks and years.
Yep. And if you can spell it, we'll send you a prize.
In Japan, we had the BMW Japan Tour Championships, where Hiroshi Iwata defeated Ryo Ishikawa. Remember Ryo Ishikawa? He was a superstar.
He was going to be a superstar.
Yeah. So he's playing mostly in Japan these days, and he's crushing it over there. But Iwata won in a playoff. Brad Kennedy, best of the Aussies, tied for 24th, and Mike Hendry was also there, tied for 56th. On the Corn Ferry Tour, we had the BMW, a lot of BMWs this week, BMW Charity Pro-Am. I played this tournament. It was a lot of fun when I was over there. There were 3 courses. American Ryan Gerard won by 6 shots over Seth Reeves. Challenge Tour in Spain, we had Danes Jonathan Goss Rasmussen have a 1-shot win. Blake Windred was the best of the Aussies, tied for 50th. LET Access Tour. Kelsey Bennett had the first and second round lead. I think she shot 63 the first round. Unfortunately, couldn't close it out, but finished third. It was the Montauban Ladies Open, and German amateur Helen Briam had a one-shot win. So congratulations to the amateur.
Yeah,
she'll be turning pro
That's
shortly, no doubt. On the Champions Tour, we had the American Family Insurance Championships, where Ernie Els defeated Steve Stricker in a playoff. Cameron Percy, third.
Good on you, Cam.
Great result for him. Shot a final round 67, and also top tens for Mark Hensby and Greg Chalmers. Greg Chalmers, he's got his card locked up, I think, for next season.
Yeah, he's had a lot of top
and
tens, hasn't he?
He's been a Monday qualifier. He's done the Steve Alker.
Good on you.
He's done it that way.
Good on you, Snake.
Brilliant effort.
Very, very good.
And your cousin,
Stevie
Allen, tied 19th, and John Sendon tied for 22nd. Good to see Sendo playing well.
John Sendon's over there playing golf with what he's dealing with and finishing 22nd on that tour.
Incredible, isn't it?
That is unbelievable.
Amazing. And lastly, on the Legends Tour, they were in Greece, where American Dennis Clark had a 4-shot win over Scott Hend. Have a look at these for scores from Scott Hend. 60, 11 under, 76, 66. Talk about a mixed bag. Unbelievable. Peter Fowler was there as well for a top 20, tied for 18th, and Michael Long and Michael Campbell, who, as we know, won the US Open at Pinehurst. They were both tied for 32nd. So looking forward to this week, the US Open.
One question. Cassie Porter, does that get her much closer to where she wants to be, which is on the US?
So it's the race for the
Tour?
card on the Epsom Tour, which is the top 10. She now moves to second on the money list.
Holy dolly.
She had a third or a fourth early on in the season, so I'm not saying she's locked it up, but she's in very, very good spot.
Well, when you and I were commentating at the Victorian Open and she was chased down by J.I. Shin, we loved her game. Her game was just made for the US Tour.
It is.
Made for it. So if she's second at the moment, the top 10 get in. Let's not go early, but well done, Cassie.
Well, it was it's just good to get that first victory over there as well, because winning in the US is very hard.
You mentioned earlier on that actually, Mark, you mentioned earlier on how good Nick is with pronunciations. You're quite right, but you couldn't recall Samuja's last name or first name.
First name, it starts with a K. I think.
How do you spell it?
I couldn't remember either. It's spelt Kalle.
Oh, Kalle. Kalle Samuja.
Kalle.
Kalle.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm just saying it's
Kelly.
So you just rocketed it out with confidence.
Kelly
like you know what you're talking about.
Kelly, mate. It's like my son, Kelly.
Fake it till you make it.
So you could be talking out of your ass.
Well, yeah, maybe. Well, my daughter's name's Hallie, so I'm just sort of Kelly.
Okay. All right.
K-E-L-L-E.
All right.
Anyway.
K-A-L-L-E.
How did we get there?
First of all, on the Todd bonus pod, the Todd Woodbridge bonus pod last week, which was great fun. Gee, he's a nice bloke. What a top guy he is.
He's almost so nice you want to belt him.
Yeah, don't say that too loud. He'll get a big head.
Him and Baker Finch, who's our new chairman. It's so nice.
Yeah.
You want to belt him.
Yeah,
he was good.
Ripping guy.
Rob wrote in, I caught the bonus pod with Todd Woodbridge, really enjoyed it. We went to the same school in Sydney. I was a year above him, and at the time, Jason Stoltenberg, another great tennis player, was in my classes. I got to play a round of golf with Todd and Jason at Royal Woolooware. I was blown away at how good they were at golf. We were all about 16 then, and they outdrove me by about 50 metres every single time. I'm guessing the hand-eye ball coordination was well entrenched in the two of them. Love the pod, guys. Very entertaining.
Plus a love of golf. Both of them have a love of golf.
Yep.
So many sports people do. A lot of other sports people wish they were Nick O'Hearn.
A lot of other sports people wish they were golfers.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of golfers don't wish they were other sports.
That's right.
Although I wish I was a tennis player. So.
A message from a Twitter account called Alders Furniture. Loved this pod. This is the Todd Woodbridge one. Gave me a new look on Todd and our tennis stars. Thank you, team.
No worries.
Now, last week we were at Southern. Thanks again to Brad Robb for having us down there.
It was great.
It was fantastic. Brad was great to celebrate the unveiling of the Bob Shearer statue.
Yeah. I'm going to head out there next week and have a game, actually.
Oh, good. I'd be interested to see what you think.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it.
Peter Canny wrote in a wonderful statement about a great bloke and a great golfer. Jed also wrote in. Now, this was in response to the photo we put up of Cristiano Ronaldo. And he said, this is what happens when you buy your statues from NQR.
Yes, that's right. If you haven't seen the Cristiano Ronaldo statue, just Google it, and it is a parody. Someone's just taken the P1SS.
They are absolutely. Brad Downs has written in. Now, Brad's from the Headland Golf Club on the sunny coast, and Brad has said, hey, gents, I was listening to your most recent pod, and in particular the part about zoysia around the bunkers. A lot of zoysia talk, haven't we, lately?
Yeah, it's big. Grass is a big deal in golf.
Yeah. We have recently completed a rebuild of our bunkers at Headland and have adopted the same approach. I would send you photos, but I'm technologically inept.
Well, could you find someone that is technologically
Ept.
and please send through, because I'd like to see that.
Okay.
I'd like to see how it turned out.
Yeah, so Brad, if you can get someone to shoot some through, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Aaron Walton. Guys, Mark and Nick, if you want to settle the Cape Wickham versus Royal Melbourne West debacle, just watch the latest No Laying Up tourist source season. You guys even get a mention in that episode.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Tourist source. All right, I'll have to look at it.
Tourist source.
Yeah, they do. Basically, what they did is they do a tour of a bunch of Australian golf courses and travel around playing. And
Cool.
What podcast is that?
No laying up.
No Laying Up.
Oh, so that's a nice little thing.
Yeah,
they
not that.
do,
No,
those
it's not the podcast. It's a video thing. They do.
video
okay.
thing.
I think it's like a 45-minute video or something.
Right.
Righto.
Okay.
So yeah,
Well, did they say nice things about us, or did they go to town
Who
on us?
knows?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Well, I need to find out now.
Okay. Well, can you watch it and report back?
I will, and if they've said something nasty,
Look out.
Watch out.
We'll
No
get,
laying up.
Well, they wouldn't play
They-
US Opens with
They
that name.
talk a big game, those boys.
Speaking of legal action,
Yeah.
we've got a legal question here.
Okay.
This is from Darren Blenkensop. Hello, guys. Did attorney Steve Rameens, I think it's Rameens, represent the Huntingdale 7, Marco?
No, I don't know. I know one of the Huntingdale 7 threatened to go to court, and he was pretty high up, this one particular gentleman, and the committee buckled, and he got off his suspension.
Right.
So one of the Huntingdale 7 got off.
So really it was a Huntingdale 6.
One of the Huntingdale 7 got 12 months, and the other 5 got 6 months.
Ooh.
Right.
And I still don't know how that buggy got on the roof, so don't ask me.
Yeah.
How many months did you get?
6.
Yeah.
6 months.
Now, we've got a lot of other feedback and a lot of questions for you guys, but we have got so much that we're not going to do it today. What we're going to do is we're going to come back in a couple of days and do a bonus pod dealing with some of the questions that have been asked of you guys.
Yeah, they must be deep questions.
Well, they are, but we're getting so much, which is great.
Great.
So we're going to come back and do another pod later.
So we're doing
on.
a bonus feedback podcast.
We are, but I do want
fantastic.
to end on these two comments because I think they're really, really important.
Yeah.
Okay.
We shared on our socials this week a post that you did, Mark, on bowel cancer testing.
Oh, yes.
And we had a couple of comments, and they're really important comments, I reckon, so I just want to read these ones out. Ron McDonald wrote out, I went out of my way to get a poo test after it missed the mail. It came back positive. I had a very large polyp removed. The surgeon said I was extremely lucky. Tell all your mates there is not enough people getting tested.
Isn't
Only
that good?
4 out of 10 blokes get tested.
Well, you wouldn't believe it, but it is Bowel Cancer Awareness Month. We have, because I'm an ambassador these days, the 19th of June is Red Apple Day, and it's raising money to give people information about the symptoms. So I'm going to tell you what the symptoms are of bowel cancer if you don't know, because not many people know. 1, if you wipe your bum and see a little bit of red blood, that is a symptom. 2, if you are emptying 3 or 4 times before lunch, it's not the coffee you're drinking, or maybe it's not the coffee you're drinking. It may well be a little blockage, a tumour blockage in your rectum. That's the one that I wish I knew, and then I wouldn't have been a stage 4. If I'd known that...
Did you think it was the coffee?
I thought it was the coffee. The deal was the tumour was 10 centimetres up from the end of my rectum, and your rectum is a storage facility. And like all good storage facilities, a little sensor goes up when you're full, and you go to the bathroom and you finish up. Mine was filling up quickly. And like I said, I just thought it was the coffee. If I'd known, I was like that for 3 or 4 years beforehand, it would have been a different story. Stomach pain is another. And the other one, which is big, if you have a family member that has had bowel cancer before, that's an issue, and you need to get tested. Now, I'll give you a little hack, okay, because a lot of the GPs won't go and get you a colonoscopy. If you say that you're worried and that you have a family history of bowel cancer, you'll get a colonoscopy.
You'll get one. Okay.
Alrighty. So if you're worried, if you're in doubt, if you are wiping your bum and seeing a little bit of blood, get to the GP, say you've got a family history of bowel cancer, go get that colonoscopy, and hopefully everything's okay.
Gary also commented on that. He said, spot on, Marco. I left the test in the cupboard for 2 years, and it was only when my wife busted my ass to do it. Bingo. I had the lowest level of cancer. Luckily, they got it in time.
Hey, men and women, it's both. You know, these days, for males and females and males, 25 to 44, bowel cancer is the number one killer in this country. And for 50 plus, it's the number 2 cancer killer in this country. And the reason that is because when I was diagnosed as a stage 4 bowel cancer patient, I was feeling $1 million. I was 49 years old. I was training to go and play on the senior tour. I was going to the gym. I was breaking records in the gym. I was as healthy as you could possibly feel. And to my astonishment, I was a stage 4 bowel cancer patient. So you don't wait, folks. Go get a check. Like I said, if you've got a family history, just go and get a colonoscopy immediately.
So just to be clear, if you're a male or a female,
over
the age of about what?
50.
Over the age
it's
of
the
50?
number 2 cancer killer in this country, and the number 1, if you are in the bracket or know someone in the bracket of 25 to 44, it is the number 1 cancer killer in this country. Thanks for letting me say that, guys, because it's important to me, and it's important in Bowel Cancer Awareness Month.
Yep. I agree. It's nothing to do with golf, but it's a really important message.
Totally.
So,
every time I get that in the mail, it's the first thing I do.
Yeah.
So,
Righto, back onto the golf. The masterclass this week, thanks to Watch My Numbers. The app is fantastic. If you want to play smarter, you've got to use your data. Download it from the App Store or Google Play. Righto, Nick, what do you got?
All right, the masterclass was on Sebastian Soderberg, if you happen to watch the Scandinavian Mixed.
I'm dying to hear this.
Well, I played with a guy at Peninsula Kingswood last week, and interestingly, he was having some issues with his short putts. I could see that, he's got the heebie-jeebies, and I could see that Sebastian Soderberg early in his round was struggling a little bit as well, and he was missing 3-4 footers.
What did you see? What alerted you to that?
Well, it was just a case of the head moved a bit soon.
Yeah,
okay. On the little bit of an anxious head. So what he did, to his credit, was on about the 8th hole after he'd missed a few, he started, as he got the putter head behind the ball, rather than taking it back, what he would do is he'd look at the hole and then start the stroke. So he was looking at the hole as he was putting. Yeah, now, Jordan Spieth does this on short putts. Yeah. And I said this to the guy the other day I played with at PK. I said, try that, and it actually helped him for a little bit. He started, the stroke was much more freer, if that's the right terminology.
That's right. Yeah.
And Soderberg from then on basically made everything from 3 or 4 feet until he got to the 18th. And he had about a 2.5, 3 footer for a bogey to get into the playoff. The stroke was he was looking at the hole, but the stroke got really quick. I think the moment got to him. But I think it's a good little exercise to do. If you struggle on those 3 footers, 4 footers especially, if your partners aren't giving them to you, which generally is a sign that you struggle if you're asking to be given them. I always say if it's that easy, knock it in. So as you get over the ball, look at the hole and then start the stroke. It will feel so strange to begin with. But it's like in other sports. Like if you throw a ball to someone, you're looking at the target. You're not looking at the ball. If you're shooting a basketball, you're not looking at the ball. You're looking at the rim.
That's right.
Same sort of thing. So in golf, if you are struggling with those shorter putts, give it a try. And I would say you'll... And then focus on what you're feeling, what you're thinking about, because you'll feel much freer. And I pretty much say you're going to hold most of your putts. Now, you might miss one or two. It might be because you looked, or the body came up a little early. That's the key, is to have the head looking at the hole, but then just rotate the body back and through as you normally would with your putting. Don't get antsy and then lift your body up as well. You're already looking at the target, so your head can't go anywhere. The only thing is it does feel a bit strange for people, but give it a go. And I'll post something on socials a bit later, and I think it'll improve your shorter putts.
It is a sensational masterclass you've just given. I've heard Jordan Spieth talk about it. He does that a lot, and he says he makes it. His quote is, "It makes my stroke feel free."
Yes, correct.
Another one too on your distance putting.
Yes,
I do it a lot for distance. You know, even today when I'm warming up, the first couple of long putts I hit, I'm always looking at the target and just...
A lot of people do that on their practice strokes next to the ball where they're looking at the target. I don't like to do that because I'm worried about hitting the ball.
Yes, I'm the same.
On my follow-through, but that's also a good one,
Who's your tip for the US Open?
Well, how can you go past Scotty? But the other good news is the other Scotty got in.
All right.
Adam Scott.
Yes.
Number 60 in the world. Remember, he lost the playoff the other day in the US Open qualifier to Cam Davis. And he was worried about missing his 92nd consecutive major. Think about that. 23 years worth of majors where he hasn't missed one.
Righto.
That's incredible. So he's in, but my tip...
Hang on a second, because we do... This is
traditional.
Okay. You've got to give me a notable that can't possibly win. And you also have to give me a winner. Yeah.
A dark horse and a winner, right?
Yep. A notable...
Right. Let me think about this for a
Okay,
second.
well, I'll go first.
Okay.
My winner this week, I'm going to stick with him, Ludwig Aberg. I think he's just made for this place. Absolutely made for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he putts from off the green a little bit. Okay. So watch out for...
So he is your winner.
He's my winner.
Okay.
Ludwig will win. And my notable that cannot possibly win.
Yep. Don't say Scotty Scheffler.
I'm saying Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, you're an idiot.
Scotty Scheffler. I just don't like the way he's chipping at the moment, and I think he's going to miss some greens.
Chipping. He's got one of the best short games in the world.
Just
he uses that leading edge beautifully.
He's my notable that can't possibly win.
And is there a dark horse or not? Or are we just doing two?
I think you just do two.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to throw a dark horse in just because.
Yeah, okay.
My dark horse.
Well, it's your podcast. You can do what you like.
David Puig.
What?
There's my dark horse for you.
How do you spell that last name again?
Puig. Plays on the Live Tour. I've been sort of keeping an eye on this guy and how he plays.
They rate him.
And yeah, I don't know. That's why he's a dark horse.
Yeah,
anyway.
Okay.
The most notable who won't win,
yes.
John Rahm.
John Rahm.
Won't win.
Okay.
He's missed the cut and finished 40th in his last two majors. He's got an injury. But he is a notable, and he's 25
you
to 1.
You've got to say it, though. So we got the quote, John Rahm can't possibly win.
John Rahm can't possibly win.
Thank you.
Okay. And the man who will win is Scotty Scheffler.
Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Indeed.
Well, he is hitting it like a dream.
It's tee to green. He's leading every category there is. His putting at Memorial was decent. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Well, I'd like to give some advice to Scotty. And that advice is, if there does happen to be a traffic jam this week, I would do what the police say, and I'd wind your window down, and I wouldn't do anything silly, Scotty, if I was you. Although last time he did, shoot 66.
Yeah, I'd almost go as far as to go to public parking, park there, and walk in. Save the issue.
All right, boys. I'll see you later in the week for a bonus pod with some more feedback.
Beautiful. Can't wait.
Sounds good.
And thanks for listening to Talk Birdie to me. We appreciate you listening and getting involved. And a huge thanks to our fantastic partners. Without them, the show just wouldn't be the same. Watch my numbers. Download the app and turn your bogeys into birdies by analysing and improving your game like never before. The Golf Clearance Outlet. Awesome prices on great gear. You can see them in Melbourne, Sydney, Brizzy, Perth, and online at golfclearanceoutlet.com.au. And Ping. See your local golf shop or professional to arrange a Ping Club fitting. They'll help you play your best. If Ping's good enough for Nick O'Hearn, well, that says it all. And we'd love you to get involved with the show. You can leave a voicemail with any comments or questions at talkbirdietome.com.au or send an email or comment on the socials. And if you can share the pod with a friend, well, we'd love that. Talk Birdie to me's executive producer is Dan Bradley at Kaizen Media. Sound design, Daryl Misson at loudzebra.com.